Hello everyone, welcome to our sixth installation of Python tutorial series. And before getting started with today's topic, I have to cover a small topic which I missed in the previous video. So it is basically called as an XOR operator. And XOR operator can be used on Boolean inputs. So an XOR operator will have two inputs, and most of the time the inputs will be Boolean values. So if both the Boolean values are same, an XOR operator will return a value false, and if both the Boolean values are different, so for example the inputs are true and false or false or true, the XOR operator will return a true value back to me. But if the inputs are true and true or false, I'll get false returned back to me. So now in Python, the XOR operation is given using the caret symbol in your keyboard. In C and C++, caret basically means exponential operation, but in Python it means XOR operation. So now let's try it out. I'll give two inputs, true and false. The XOR operator returns true to me, and if I try something like this, false and true, I'll get a true return back to me. And now I'll try the other two combinations of inputs, true and true, false, false, XOR false. So I'll get false and false returned back to me. So an XOR operator should have different Boolean inputs in order to get a true, and same inputs will throw a value false to me. So now that is about the XOR operation. Let us see about today's topic, which is lists in Python. So before getting started with lists, in C and C++ language, we have something called as arrays. An array is a continuous sequence of elements which belong to the same data type. So in C and C++, we create an array using the syntax x is equal to 1, 2, 3, something like this. So we'll give the data type, we'll give the name of the array, and we'll give the elements in an array. So each of the element in an array is integer value. So we have four integer values which are stored one after another in a continuous memory location. But in Python we'll have some difference, but before getting that, we can even have array of float or character in C++. So let us create a list in Python first. So let us create a list of integer values. X is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how we create a list in Python. So I'll just print the values in X. So I got the list returned back to me. And now I'll create a list of another data type. So A, B, C. So now X has different values which are all character values. Now I'll create a list of floating point data type 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. But there is a feature in Python's list which is more advantageous than arrays in C and C++ language. So now instead of saying it in words, I'll show it to you. 1, 2.0, A. So the values, the elements in a list are not of the same data type now. So will I get an error? Let's see out. I didn't get an error thrown back to me. So we can even store elements of different data types in a list in Python. So that is why Python is so special, and it is very advantageous and simpler than C and C++ language. So okay, now we have created a list. So how can we access the elements in a list? We access it using indexing in Python. This is similar to the indexing in C and C++ language. So the first element has an index of 0, second element has an index of 1, the third element will have an index of 2. So now in order to print the first index, I will give x square bracket. So now the square bracket is called as a subscript, and the value inside it is the subscript value. So it has to be an integer. It can be a positive or a negative integer. So x of 0 returns 1 to me. So I told you the index can even have a negative value. In C and C++ we don't have negative indices, but in Python we have negative indices. So I got the value a, so which is this value. So what those negative indices mean in Python is -1 means the first value from the end of the list. So now this happens to be the first value from the end of the list. So if I try to access the third value from the end of the list, I'll get 1 returned back to me. So I can even give positive values, x of 1, I'll get 2 returned back to me. So now just remember, x of 1 doesn't mean the first element, it means the second element, because x of 0 is the first element in a list. So that will be a bit confusing, but you will get used to it. And if you are well versed in C and C++, this won't even be a problem to you. Only this is a new concept. So now let us try to alter the values in a list. X of 2 is equal to, so now if I try to print the value in x, the x of 2, that is the third value, got replaced with the string Kishore. Now I'll try something like this. X of 5 is equal to, now I'll get an error thrown back to me because the size of x is 3. So I can have only indices 0 to 2. If I try to access something greater than that, I'll get an error. Even if I try something like this, x of -4. So this is the fourth value from the end, but there are only 3 values. So now I'll once again get an error thrown back to me. So now these are the basics of list concepts in Python. Now I'll try another concept. So now I'll try to copy the values in x to a list y. So y is equal to x. Now if I print y, I'll get the same values which were stored in x. So now if I'll try to change the values in y. So y of 2 is equal to Kumar. Now if I print y, I'll get 1, 2 and Kumar because the Kishore got replaced with Kumar in this statement. But now I'll try to print the value in x. What is this? I get the values which were inside y. So now when I type y is equal to x, basically the values in y and x are stored in the same memory location. So basically y and x are the same. We are just giving different names to the same in list. So in order to have two different lists, I will give something like this: x dot copy, y is equal to x dot copy. So now I'll have x and y printed to me. Now I'll try to alter the values in x. Y of 2 is equal to Kishore once again. So now if I print the values in y and x, I'll get different values because y and x are now basically two different lists. But if I give something list y is equal to x, basically they are the same list, they are stored in the same address location. Now we have seen about list. Let us see about the operations and functions in a list. So we'll get started with the operations. We have two operations, that is addition and multiplication. So an addition and multiplication doesn't literally mean addition and multiplication. Actually the plus operator means concatenation and the Astrix operator means repeated concatenation. So I'll explain what I meant through that. So x is equal to 1, 2, 3, y is equal to k I such. So I'll try this addition plus operation. So x plus y returned the concatenated values of the two lists. So now y got concatenated to x. Now if I try something like this, I'll have x concatenated to the end of y. Now for repeated concatenation, I'll use Astrix operator. So x Astrix 3 will return 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 3. So x got repeated thrice. So now this is the operations in a list. Let us see about the functions in a list. So now as you can see, now if x happens to have the values 1 2 and 3, I can only change the values 1 2 and 3. So I can only change x of 0, x of 1 and x of 2. If I try to do something like this, that is, I am trying to add a new value, but I will get an error thrown back to me because x of 3 doesn't exist. So I have to append a new value to x. So we do it using append operator in Python. So how we do that is, now you have to type the name of the list. So x is the name of the list. X dot append. Sorry, x dot append. Now we'll have to enter the value which should be appended at the end. So now if I try to print the value of x, I'll have Kishore appended to the end of x. Now one of the special features in Python is we can have a list inside a list. So what I'm trying to mean is x is equal to 1 2 3, and I'll have another list inside this 1 comma 2 comma 3. So now if I try to print x, I'll get 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma and another list which holds the value 1 2 and 3 again. So now how do I access the value 3 inside this? So I do it using like this, x of 3, and so now first I'm accessing the fourth value in x, which is this list, and inside this list I am accessing the first element, so it is given using this x of 3 of 0 will return the value 1 to me. So x of 3 of 2 returns 3 back to me. Now we can even append a list and another new list to x. So now x has these values. Now I'll try something like x dot append. So now I'll print x. So I have a new list which is appended to the previous values in the list. So this is append function, and we have another function, another two functions. So they are index function and insert function. So now what if I want to insert a new value between these two values? I will give it using insert function. So x dot insert. So I have to give two arguments in this function. The first argument is the position where we want to insert the value. So in order to insert it between 1 and 2, I have to give the index 1, and I'll give the value which has to be inserted. So now if I try to print x, I'll have the value Mitra which is inserted between these two values. And if I want to know the index of a value inside the list, so if I want to know the index of this value, I'll use something like this, x dot index of 3. Now it will return the value 3 to me. So now this is the third index, that is 0 1 2 and 3. So 3 got returned to me if I tried x dot index of 3. So now what if I have 3 comma 3 comma 4 comma 4? What if I try to access the, what if I want to know the index of this? So x dot index of 4. So I got 2. So 0 1 and 2. But what if I want to access the index of this? We cannot access the index of we cannot see the index of this element. So an index function only returns the index of the first occurrence. So now if This was the first occurrence of 4. So we got the index position of only that occurrence. We cannot have the index position of the next occurrence in a list. So now that is the index function. And what if I want to see whether a value exists in a list? So x is equal to sure. I have a list like this. Kishore 981921 and Mitra. So now I want to know whether this value exists in a list. So now 981921 in X. So we use the in operator to know whether a value is present inside a list. So true. Since this value exists in the list, I got true. But what if 98 in X? I'll get false returned back to me. Now, if I want to know whether a value doesn't exist in a list, I'll just make a small change. So 98 not in X. I got true value returned back to me. So now we have another final operator which is called as a len operator, length operator or len operator. So len of X. So now X currently holds 3 values. This is the last recent value of X. Now X holds 3 values. So len of X will return 3 to me. Now I'll try this is applicable even to strings. So X is equal to sure len of X holds gives a value 7. So now there were 7 characters in the string and I got 7 returned using the len function. So now this is all about all you need to know about lists. So now let us see another topic, range. A range is a range of values in Python. Mm, Actually, range is given using range is created using this function range. So the first argument for this function will be the first value in the range. So I'll give it 0. And now if I want to create a range of numbers from 0 to 9, I'll give 10. Why 10? Why shouldn't I give 9 is, now that is the syntax of Python. So you have to give, if you give something like range of 0 comma 10, I'll get a range of numbers from 0 to 9. That is the value before 10. Now if I get something like this, range of 0 to 11, I'll get the values from 0 to 10 instead of 0 to 9 or 0 to 11. So now if I try to print the value now, I'll get the same function returned back to me. So what is this is, now range is, creates an object in Python. So we cannot access the values in an object directly. So we will give something like this, lists of range of 0 comma 10. Now I got the list of numbers from 0 to 9. That is 9 is one number lesser than 10. So I got the list of numbers from 0 to 9. So now what if I want to create a set of numbers something like 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, something like that. So I'll use a third argument in the range function. So I'll give it something like this, 0 comma I'll just print the values from 0 to 10 in steps of 2. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 and something like that. So I'll give 11 because I'll get the values lesser than 11 printed to me. And now I'll have to give the step size. And we know we have to give this, otherwise we won't get the values printed. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. Okay, now what if I want to create another kind of a range? So list of a range of 15, 200, 5, something like this. So the first value was 15 and the last value was 195, which is lesser than 200, and they got incremented in steps of 5. So We can even use the range function with just one argument. Let us see how we can do that. List of range of 10. So now if I give only one argument, the first value in the range will be 0 and the values will be incremented in steps of 1 to the value that occurs before 10. So now we will get a list of numbers from 0 to 9. Now if I try something like this, list of range of 40, I will get the numbers 0 to 39. As you can see here, I got 0, 1, 2, 3 till 39 and the numbers are incremented in steps of 1. So that's all you need to know about list and range. So now if you find these sessions and tutorial videos useful, do suggest them to your friends, and we are even posting our videos in Tamil language, so you can go and check them out. So now if you like this channel, do subscribe this channel, and I thank you once again.